In this video, we're going to be rationalizing a denominator containing two terms. And we have, for number 1, multiply the square root of x minus the square root of y times the square root of x plus the square root of y. And it wants us to recall the special product a minus b times a plus b is equal to a squared minus b squared. So we have this is equal to the square root of x squared minus the square root of y squared, which is equal to x minus y. And then it asks, are there any radicals left in your answer? And we can see that there's not, so no. In B, it says, what do you notice about the factors the square root of x minus the square root of y and the square root of x plus the square root of y? And we have the same terms and opposite signs. In 2, it says, what would you multiply 2 plus the square root of 10 by in order to eliminate the radicals? So we want the same terms and opposite signs. So instead of 2 plus the square root of 10, we're going to have 2 minus the square root of 10. And then it gives us some rules for conjugate of the binomial and rationalizing a denominator of two terms, and we'll see examples of these below. In 3, it wants us to rationalize the expression below, and we have 3 square root of 3 divided by 2 plus the square root of 5. And it says state the conjugate of the denominator. So the conjugate of the denominator is going to be the same terms, opposite sign, so 2 minus the square root of 5. And now we want to rationalize the denominator. So we have 3 square root of 3 divided by 2 plus the square root of 5 times 2 minus the square root of 5 divided by 2 minus the square root of 5. And this is equal to 3 square root of 3 times 2 minus the square root of 5 divided by, now we have 2 squared minus the square root of 5 squared. And this can be written as 6 square root of 3 minus 3 square root of 15, distributed my 3 square root of 3 through the parentheses in the numerator, divided by, now we have 4 minus 5, and this is negative 1. So we can change the signs of our numerator and write it without the denominator. So I can say that this is equal to 3 square root of 15 minus 6 square root of 3. In B, we have 8 square root of 2 minus 3 square root of 7 divided by 4 square root of 2 minus 3 square root of 7. And we want to state the conjugate of the denominator, and it's going to be 4 square root of 2 plus 3 square root of 7. And now we want to rationalize the denominator. So we have 8 square root of 2 minus 3 square root of 7 divided by 4 square root of 2 minus 3 square root of 7 times 4 square root of 2 plus 3 square root of 7 divided by 4 square root of 2 plus 3 square root of 7. And now I'm going to FOIL the numerator, and I'm going to use our special product rule for the denominator. So for the numerator, I have 8 square root of 2 times 4 square root of 2 is 32 square root of 4. And then I have 8 square root of 2 times 3 square root of 7 gives me 24 square root of 14. And negative 3 square root of 7 times 4 square root of 2 is equal to negative 12 square root of 14. And then I have negative 3 square root of 7 times positive 3 square root of 7 is negative 9 times the square root of 49. And now in the denominator, we have 4 square root of 2 squared minus 3 square root of 7 squared. And now I'm going to simplify this. So we have, in the numerator, 32 times the square root of 4. The square root of 4 is 2. So we have 32 times 2, or 64. And then I have like terms here. I have 24 square root of 14 minus 12 square root of 14 gives me plus 12 square root of 14. And now I have 9 times the square root of 49. And the square root of 49 is 7. 7 times 9 is 63, minus 63, divided by, and now I have 4 squared is 16, and the square root of 2 squared is 2. So 16 times 2 is 32, and 3 squared is 9, and the square root of 7 squared is 7. 9 times 7 is 63. And now I'm going to have one last simplification step. I have 64 minus 63 is 1, plus 12 square root of 14, divided by 32 minus 63 is negative 31. So this would be our final answer after rationalizing the denominator. And that's our video on rationalizing a denominator containing two terms.